What's the subtitle of Werewolf?
Oh man, I don't know. They're all so embarrassing.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
with the Awakening. I'm gonna guess it's
Werewolf. I
the
think you're right. I think you're. I meant Werewolf: The Awakening. I think you might be right.
it's
The
hard the
Forsaken.
Forsaken. But if you find the list of
Players
like
portray the Forsaken werewolves, known as Uratha.
if you find the list of like White Wolf games, there's like 10 of them and they all have dumb fucking names.
A White Wolf game. Mage: The Ascension. Wraith: The Oblivion. Changeling: The Dreaming.
And then just Orpheus, and
Yeah.
NBD. Someone just said, "Oh, there's the sound." Is that Kamekian? What? It's not you. Nope. Sorry, not you. It's me.
Yeah. No, we were having such wonderful stories.
You missed out on some quality storytelling. We can recap. Apple M1 is great. Bike helmets are weird.
And
And
Amazon
we're both
is an evil that we cannot escape.
yeah, we're both consumer pigs. That's great.
Yeah. Okay.
Solve that problem.
All right. Well, we can do some 3D graphics now. Maybe that's
All right.
maybe that's a good signal to the universe
Take it to
for
the
us to actually.
OpenGL. Whew.
Yeah.
Amateur hour over here. I'm sorry.
Um, I don't really want to know what to do tonight. Um, I could do
Well,
some wireframe stuff if that's interesting to you. Or we could get back to the game and actually try to get the game rendering with OpenGL.
I kind of want to get the game rendering because we've got triangles and we figured out our perspective last week. So I think we could actually like bring it back up to baseline.
Okay, yeah, let's do it. So we're gonna really go for it now.
Yeah.
Boy, do I wish I had an M1 Mac right now to run my compile jobs.
Oh man, our server restarts really fast.
Yeah,
I'm
Jesus.
sorry.
Now this stream is just gonna be us shouting out your MacBook Air.
It's worth it.
Yeah.
Oh, you should be on the 3D branch, by the way.
Uh, did
Maybe.
you push a bunch of changes to the 3D branch?
No, but we've got the Canvas 3D renderer in there.
Oh, okay, got it.
Maybe we merge master into that.
How about? Of course, GitHub's not in there. GitHub.com/Jeff and /Manchester. Did I do it right?
It's weird that none of that auto completed because like I've been.
Well, I'm in an incognito window.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't know why I do this to myself. Okay, so what if? What if?
Oh, since we're doing it, you want to bring 3D into master?
Yeah.
I like it. That's commitment.
Git merge. I don't want to do an FF only merge. What I'm going to do is I'm going to check out 3D. I'm going to pull it.
Yep. Rebase.
I'm going to rebase. And it's just not going to work. It's just not going to work.
What? Oh shit. Just client and server though.
Merge conflict in server main.
It's probably because we turned it down to like 1.
Yeah. I will accept the current change. That has resolved itself.
Nice. And client TS?
Oh,
That is a difference.
that is a difference. It makes a lot of sense.
Oh, took the wrong one though. I think we passed the canvas in was the change.
Oh, okay.
Oh, it's great. Yeah, TypeScript's still not happy, so problem solved.
The change was we passed the canvas in?
Oh, in the 3D renderer, it accepts the canvas instead of the context because we.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's all.
I'm sorry. Um,
Sweet.
who was talking to us in the chat? I blew right over that.
Who? Yeah, sorry. Kamekian, who are you? Am I pronouncing Kamekian right?
Welcome to the. I don't recognize the screen name, but
Huh?
welcome to the stream.
No, they followed us 7 minutes ago, so I don't know who it is.
Sweet.
Could be
Well,
one of my coworkers.
this is not a place for real names or judgment.
That's
You can
true.
come. You can come to the stream and reinvent yourself. This is the space of personal reinvention. You can be an elf.
You can be an elf in the normal in a day to day too. Being an elf is dope.
That is true. That is true. Especially in the Bay Area, you're allowed to be an elf, so long as you're a libertarian elf with an equity compensation package.
Boo.
Yeah.
Too real. You got too real.
Yeah. Well, okay, but you can be an elf with that, but pretend that you don't. It's a space of
that's extremely
personal
real,
reinvention. Yeah, it's it's a space of personal reinvention. Did that all work? Are we good?
I think so.
Those are only the two files of conflicts. It appears.
Yeah, rebase add or git add rebase continue.
Git rebase.
Is it weird? I feel like there's actually a faster way to
forward.
I feel like there's a faster way to do this, but this is also how I do it every time.
Whip. I don't know. I've gotten kind of used to it. It makes some degree of sense to me now.
Yeah, but you almost pulled out that like merge FF only thing, and I was like, I know that's a command, but I don't know how to use it.
Well, I think maybe what I wanted to do was not. I guess I just wanted to do a merge. I would just git merge that branch, but not with a merge commit. Right. I what I want is like a cherry pick, but I want a cherry pick of like a bunch of commits.
Right? Is that what FF only does? That's great.
No. Well, FF only works if like the two branches have a shared. If like the latest commit in the branch that you're merging into is in the history of the branch that you're merging from. If that makes sense. It's a fast forward. So basically you're merging a branch that's in your future, which is why it's like fast forward only.
Gotcha. Yeah, totally.
So in order for us to do that, I basically rebased that branch over master. So I force it to be in the future. Thus concludes the Git Nerd section of the stream. For now.
For now. I feel like we might actually talk some trash on Git later. It happens.
We might actually talk some trash, yeah. Let's see if this runs, shall we? I don't even know what to expect right now. What does it even look like?
I think you get a green square in a magenta field.
With the game actually running in the background, though.
The game might not. Yeah, possibly. Actually.
What's going on in client main?
I was gonna say we only changed the renderer, so I guess it keeps going. You'll never know, but it keeps going.
Do you think they're gonna make? I'm sorry, not off the Apple thing. Do you think they're gonna make new? They're gonna make new MacBooks in the next Apple event?
I think the next Apple event might be like tomorrow, so probably not.
What about the first Apple event of 2021? Like in March? That's probably when it's going to be.
It's either March or WWDC in the summer, but I bet you'll get like your MacBook Pro then.
Okay.
Like the good MacBook Pro, not the shitty one.
Yeah, so that's probably the time I'll buy a new computer. Okay.
Yeah, it's coming though. I think
I deserve it.
I think.
Oh my God! Look at this. It's a magenta field with the green
you can't tell,
as promised.
That square is actually 3-dimensional.
So we were trying to render terrain. Was that right?
Yeah, we were gonna loop over the tiles and pop it out there.
My cursor completely disappears when I move over this. Oh, that's because the cursor does actually disappear.
Yeah, it's the CSS.
That's actually the game.
You can turn that off if you want.
No, I don't want it. I like
okay.
it. I like it. Okay. So 3D renderer. Good Lord, this is what we did, right?
Yeah. We sort of made something.
Yeah. And we want to be able to draw some of these primitives. Gosh, we're going to do so much violence to the code base right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I think. Yeah, here we go. We even started on it.
Yeah.
Right. So squares is actually, we could just fill up squares and square colors with our with the points or with the tiles, and then we're probably pretty good.
Yeah. The renderable that we're talking about is a square. Is that correct? And I need to refresh my memory. What is a renderable? It can be a rect or a path or a circle, a line, or text. And we're just going to be doing rects, right?
Let's just do Rex, yeah.
Yeah. Well, position and dimensions, and these should be in screen space already. Is that correct? By the time we get to this point, we have transformed it already.
I believe so.
I need to refresh my memory on what we do here in the real game. I have this source code. What the hell am I doing? I thought I didn't realize we were in a completely different file.
Yeah, I feel like we actually like made good choices with our life, because theoretically we could switch the renderer on the fly if we got real fancy.
Yeah. Okay. So we actually do have a
The model
we have
will
a transform.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So do I kind of want to preserve this stuff here? This dot transform comes from the camera, and that's what positions it into screen space, right?
Is that the camera transform? Okay, yeah. Yep.
Set transform.
Gotcha. Yeah, okay.
Now, where this gets a little bit challenging is we actually, like, I believe our camera, the transform that we receive from this, does it center?
Centers the player.
This dot world view transform. So reset a position using the camera, apply zoom, apply shake, transform coordinates. So is this as if the camera is pointing at the center of the screen, or if the camera's in the upper left corner? That's my question.
That is a really good question. What is CW corner doing there?
Yeah, we do subtract. We negate this position, the position of the camera. The origin of the world is the middle, right? It's not the upper left.
Correct.
Yeah. So what we do is we Oh yeah, I mean this is fine, right? Like we're just subtracting the camera's position from whatever we take whatever we're trying to render and we subtract off the camera's position, which gives the position of the thing we're trying to render relative to where the camera is, right? Okay, so that's fine. We recenter the position using world space projected viewport origin. Do we ever even use zoom? When did I add zoom?
I don't know, but I feel like we've had that for a while.
Maybe does the map editor use the same thing?
You know what? I bet it's for that. Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay.
It's probably just set to 1 for normal gameplay.
Okay, so this actually will give us a position relative. Yeah, it's not relative to the upper left-hand corner. It's just relative to the center. So when do we change that? Is it in the Canvas 2D render itself?
When do we change the camera transform? I think it changes in actually client as the player position moves every tick, or maybe in tick. It's not
about where the camera's moving. It's basically I believe all of our drawing primitives, aren't they relative to the upper left corner of the screen? Or are they relative to the center? I'm pretty sure it's upper left.
Mm-hmm. That sure sounds right. I mean, that drawing just looked like it was drawn with 0 in the top left as well.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Yep, I think that's correct. So, what is our renderables? What does the wall renderable look like? Because we might do some transform there.
Are you talking about this?
No, like the get renderables function for the wall component. The thing that spits back the rect. Two renderables.
This is all world space positions, though.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. I feel like maybe it's the camera that's doing it. Like if I go back to the camera, this seems like pretty suspicious code. Like it's taking the viewport dimensions and then what is this scale? It's taking the viewport position, scaling it by it's multiplying it by 0.5 and then dividing it by the zoom. Let's pretend zoom is 1, so let's basically ignore that, right? So we almost don't want it to do this. Does that make sense?
Can you explain that again? Why would we not?
This CW corner is why are we multiplying this? What is this? What the hell is this doing? I wish this oh, this is camera to world.
Camera to world.
Yeah.
Oh, it's weird.
Oh, and it's doing a translation. Okay, yes, of course. Gosh, I don't know why I was like kind of spacing out there. Basically, we have a bunch of a series of matrices that are doing translations, but we're composing them by multiplying them together. Just so you're just it's as if you're translating multiple times. This translation says rather than taking rendering your coordinates relative to the world origin, I want you to treat the camera as the origin. So give me your position relative to the camera as opposed to relative to the origin of the world.
Gotcha. Right? Okay.
And this moves it again, saying, actually, your origin isn't where the camera's position is. Your origin is actually half of the viewport dimensions to the northwest of where the camera position is. And the reason why is if you treat that as the origin, that's the upper left-hand corner of the screen. Does that make sense?
Gotcha. Okay, yeah. So then that's drawing stuff correctly. Yep.
So then we don't actually want this for 3D. Right. Because in 3D, all of our draw positions are relative to what's known as normalized device coordinates, which is like the center of the camera
is 0.
Is zero. Right. -1 is here. 1 is to the right. Okay. -1 is the top, and then 1 is the bottom. Right.
Yep, that makes sense.
Okay. Let me actually look at that picture. Normalized device coordinates, and we'll actually get something that actually shows us a picture of that. Actually, I think normalized device coordinates looks like a regular Cartesian plane where positive goes upwards and negative goes downwards.
Okay. Wait, positive goes upwards. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I love that this makes our tile map like reversed in this space, but I guess it doesn't matter. It's 2D. We're not actually.
Yeah, we're gonna have some fun. We're gonna have some fun things to do here. Um, so we need to negate. How do we do this? I think we need to negate the X and Y axes, right?
Mhm.
Or if not negate them, what do we do? If you're exactly 1 unit above the camera position,
Mhm.
if we don't make any modifications to the code, your Y coordinate would be negative.
-1 in.
But then we do want to be positive, right? So I think, but do we always negate everything? I think we do, right?
Mhm. So wait, do we turn off the negation here then,
Uh,
or do we
well,
just
this
negate?
negate here is a subtraction, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think this one is fine, but then we want to negate the X and Y axes. How do we do that in a translation matrix? Like,
Oh,
if
got
we have
yeah.
we have X and Y, what matrix do we want it? Do we want on the
Is
other
it
side?
-1 0 0 -1? Is that it?
-1 0 0 -1.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and that will yield, that multiplication will yield -x plus 0y, which is -x.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, that's exactly right. So the flip matrix is equal to mat2d from values. How do I do this? A, B, C, D, Tx, Ty.
Now, do we want to flip the x? Am I
Oh, we don't want to flip the x. You're right.
just the y? So 0
So it's
0
pod,
0 -1.
it's this one, right?
Oh, 1. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The API here is a little bit funky. It's not what I think it is. It's a 6-element array. I think I want to mat 2D. Well, okay, this is fine. It's 1 0 0 -1. Translation, nothing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we're not going to be, we're going to break our tool, which is okay.
Yep, we can fix it. Maybe not. The tool's going to keep using the 2D renderer.
Well, I'm modifying the camera code right now, so
Oh shit! Yeah, it's gone. Never mind.
I'm not convinced that this is where this is the proper location for the code. Like another thing that we could do is the camera could pass, rather than pass a transform to the renderer, we could pass the world space position of the camera, the viewport dimensions of the camera,
Mm-hmm.
and the zoom, which is whatever, and then have the renderer take care of that. That actually makes a little bit more sense to me.
That feels pretty good. Yeah, because then the only thing the camera needs to worry about is its own position and eventually rotation or something.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe let me undo some of this stuff, and we can maybe do some of the math in a vacuum rather than trying to jerry-rig this all on there. I'm a little bit worried. What the hell do we use this for? Oh, we use it for the cursor. All right, we got our work cut out for us, but I think we can at least draw the terrain today.
Yeah.
Okay. Clients.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be playable, but I do think
No, it won't be playable.
we can make it look like something.
Renderable. I think what we really want in the Canvas 3D renderer is we want camera pause, camera world pause. Why is it complaining about this?
No
Just like-
initializers? Oh,
That's really annoying. Why was it complaining?
that's bizarre.
And then zoom, we don't need to count for it right now.
And, it's weird. We get viewport dimensions off the canvas, actually. Or at least we have been.
Oh, yeah, let's do that. So rather than take a transform, camera roll pause equals P.
Nice.
Why is it complaining about transform? Because I got rid of it.
You got rid of it.
And it doesn't like renderable. Are we not importing it? Oh, just because we said it, but not, we didn't
gave
find
up on it,
So,
yeah.
and then client main, is that where we render?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's actually client render that I care about here, right? And then is render an interface? Did we just break the? We did.
Yeah, crud.
It's okay. What we're gonna do is, just so we don't have to mess with this too much, I'm just gonna call this.
Nice. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. It's getting there, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is just drawing a square, right? So technically, we could probably get rid of all this stuff.
I think so. Yeah. I think that the only the squares and the square color. I mean, yeah. I feel like this is maybe our renderable for the rector. The start of it. It's just 92 through 100 are should be fed by something else.
Right. This is almost something where we could do a geometry shader. So we talked about like the vertex shader and the fragment shader.
Mm-hmm.
There's actually a shader that sits in front of those two, called the
Oh.
geometry shader, which takes some input and then emits vertices. And
That's cool.
Yeah. So for example, we could have a shader that does our squares, right? So we can just say there's a square at this position, and we'd emit vertices for it, from and the GPU would handle it for you.
Oh, that's
right?
super neat.
It's pretty cool, right?
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, I don't think we'll do it tonight. Yeah,
That's okay.
I agree. Okay. Do we set the viewport? Do we call GL viewport like every single time here, or I don't know what the cost of that is going to be. And where are our shaders defined? Up here.
Above this even? Yeah.
Okay, yeah, and the viewport's being set here. Yeah.
Yep. And really, we're not resetting the viewport on resize yet, so that's okay.
Yeah, and this looks pretty good, right? We take a vertex position and a color. and we emit the color, and we just set that. It's all solid color stuff.
Yep.
Okay, so what? Yeah,
I was gonna say, so that combo of programs would be like our terrain program, and when we wanted to switch to like a lighted model or a wireframe, we'd actually like use the next program and pass it the vertices. Is that like the OpenGL way?
yeah. I mean, more or less, this program will work for everything that Manchester does right now. I think.
I think so. Yeah, for like if we keep it 2D or yeah, just render stuff flat, that makes sense.
Yeah, and then we'll need to figure out how to do debug draw of text. Text may actually be something where we continue doing in Canvas 2D. Can we have canvases on top of canvases?
I think so. You can have a transparent canvas, can't you? We're about to find out.
Yeah, because otherwise we'd have to write the text to a texture and then pass it in a 3D render, which seems...
Or do like a texture font of some sort? Is that the...
You can do texture fonts too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or font textures, as it were.
Now, here's a question I had, which is that rather than draw all these rectangles, should we like capture it to a texture and only do this once? Like there was that render the rectangle on the rectangle thing.
Oh,
you know what?
I see what you're saying.
Maybe round two, but also I feel like, yeah, that's kind of...
Yeah, I mean, I like where your head's going because what we're about to do is gonna be super inefficient.
Yeah, as like for a flat plane, this seems like a lot of extra work.
Yeah. In fact, I've never really thought too hard about the problem of terrain in 3D graphics before. Like, we actually have a pretty large, consistent mesh of vertices, right? So there's actually a lot of different ways that we're going to do this. Like, the way that we're going to do this is like the super brute force way of doing it, which is to create a new piece of geometry for every single tile.
Yep.
Every single frame. Now, another way that we could have done that is we could have created a vertex array object when we initialize the terrain. So like during the load screen or whatever. That has every vertex that we'd ever care about already there, right? And then we use an index buffer every frame to indicate which of the vertices we want to draw, right? And that's actually a pretty good example of why you'd want to use an index buffer, because the index buffer would basically like let you select a subset of some prearranged memory that you actually want to render per frame, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. Okay.
But we're not doing that now either, right? Okay. So what we actually needed to figure out here is basically how do we take the primitive. So case primitive dot rect. We're going to do some stuff. And then everything else, we do nothing.
Heck yeah.
And I'm still thinking in Rust. We need parentheses.
Man, switching languages.
Rust is weird, right?
Rust is extremely weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta catch up on some of those tonight, though. I'm behind.
Oh, it's cool. That's Advent of Code.
Yep. It's getting behind part of the experience.
A little bit, yeah. I mean, the puzzles start to get really hard.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So far, what we've done so far is like relatively. And I don't want to make anybody feel bad if they're doing Advent of Code right now, and like everyone should go at their own pace. But I think relative to like the weight of them, by the end of it, they're like it's pretty trivial right now.
That's good,
which is not.
It leads into Christmas break when you suddenly have more time. Hopefully.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And it's not that like I have always defended Advent of Code as being better than most programming contests because it doesn't. Like to me, it was never like unfairly difficult. Like either you knew it or you don't type stuff. But on the other hand, I think what I might really be saying is that it's like at my speed. You know what I mean? It's at my personal level of, like sophistication or lack thereof. And I don't know.
I I think it's like as a learning tool though, it should be hard. Like it shouldn't
Yeah.
just be a programming competition you can like Google all the answers for. So
Yeah. But there I think there are a class of programming challenges slash interview questions that kind of require like a light bulb type insight, and I don't think that's Advent of Code. I don't
nice.
like at least I believe it's not. But
Right, like you're trapped in a blender. How do you get out? Kind of stuff.
yes, yeah.
A question we never asked at Chain for some reason.
What do you do to get out if you're trapped in a blender?
I have no idea. I heard that question. I was like, I think I die. You stand.
What's
in
the scenario?
You stand in the center.
You're a tiny person.
You're a
right?
tiny person.
Okay.
I mean, it could be a giant blender. I don't know. Maybe it's some Joker style, like comically sized blender.
It's
I like that you.
a
I like
DC
that you
Comics
imagined that for
villain.
a second.
I completely did. You know I did.
Goes with a giant penny. Yeah.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. It's a Batman villains, but they really put a lot of investment in the production value of their. I don't even know what you want to call it. Their escapades.
Mm.
They're like, I'm literally going to create like a giant blender, such that a man would be like a tiny person trapped in a blender. Right? That's how I'm gonna scale this gigantic device.
Maybe
You know?
maybe what we've discovered is that Google's interview questions are really just like they're doing market fit testing for super villain death trap ideas. They're
Oh God, I hope so.
They're like, no, I know we said don't be evil, but like, what about a giant blender? Does that feel evil? Not evil? Who's to say?
Right. Okay, so what we need to do, our goal here is we need a transform matrix that treats the camera position as the origin, reverses the y-axis, normalizes
Do we normalize the aspect ratio here?
by aspect ratio and size of viewport.
Now for
Right.
for today, are we aiming to recreate the Manchester experience like top down 2D?
Yes,
Great. Okay.
that's basically all I was going for.
I'm with that. Yeah.
Yeah,
It just
I
have a bunch
wasn't
of- I have a
trying
bunch
to
of questions.
I wasn't trying to orient the camera or anything like that.
Yeah, I have like questions about how we want to do that if we do so, but like
Yeah.
once we do this, we can think about that.
Yes. And that should do it, right? That's basically the matrix that we want to have. And in fact, technically, we could probably set the matrix up in this.
Like
in
once
this
we get the
function
camera
here.
world pause, whenever that updates, we create the matrix, and then yeah, for render, it's not doing math.
Yeah. Okay. So first of all, and this is a two-dimensional transform that we want to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We need a transform matrix. So mat D2 2D. And I think it's a mat 2D dot identity is what we want up front.
Because that should be 1001 instead of all zeros.
Oh, mat 2D actually, Richard. Sorry.
So wait, why does identity need you to create something?
Identity says I want to blank. I want to basically zero something out.
okay.
That's the idea. Yeah. So if you're like reusing the same matrix for some reason, you want to set the identity. That's what you do it for.
Acceptable. I can.
Yeah.
I believe.
Fair enough. Okay. It treats the camera position as the origin. So
So do we translate by camera world pause?
Yes, mat2d dot from translation. And in fact, we can just start with this, which is I think what we had last time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a vector. This is a vec2. This is a vec2. I really wish that
Yep.
TypeScript would preserve the aliases, but it doesn't.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
Is this
Uh,
is that because we wrap something in immutable? That's our type, right?
yeah, I think that's what basically what happened.
How'd that happen though? This is someone else's library. That's weird. That's unexpected.
Yeah, it's cool.
Mm-hmm.
This is the consequence of doing structural types as opposed to nominal types, I think. So I think it's the negation of the camera position. Right. Okay. So let's say the camera is at 1, 1
Mm-hmm.
and you are at 2, 2. So you are to the southeast of the camera, right?
Correct.
What is your position relative to the camera? As if camera was 0, if the camera was 0, 0, you would subtract the camera's position from your position. Right?
-1, 1. -1,
Yes.
-1. Yeah.
So it is the vec2 dot negation of this dot camera world pause, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we buy that so far.
Yep.
And that is our transform. And actually, I haven't done the composition of these yet. So this is the world to view,
Mm-hmm.
right? You reverse the y-axis. This is like flip y.
Flip y. We had that earlier. Yeah.
mat2d dot create.
I thought there was a from values on there.
Yes, you're right. And again, this was 1, 0, 0,
-1.
-1.
And what are tx and ty?
The translations.
Oh, okay.
So really, we could actually set this to the negation of this. We could do negative this dot camera world pause x and negative this dot camera world pause. I'm being too fancy though.
Yeah,
But let's just do 0, 0.
I like
This
having
makes sense.
more matrices multiplied more times. I think it'll be clearer.
And then we normalize by the aspect ratio and size of viewport, right? Okay, so this one's a little bit trickier. We are basically... Let's actually do two things. We normalize... This one is... from values, we're going to multiply the x coordinate by the reciprocal of the width of the screen, right? Or is it half the width of the screen? Is that right?
Right. Yeah. Oh, weird.
It's half the width. It's half the width, right?
It's half the width because our coordinates are -1/2 to 1/2.
Yeah. So it's this dot canvas dot width.
Yeah. Is that? Oh, yeah, because it's the width is a full 2. Yep.
Right. 0, 0. Right? And then... this is the best we can do formatting-wise. It's going to be terrible.
Unfortunately.
Const norm aspect. And aspect ratio, is that width over height or height over width?
I think of it as width over height, but I'm not sure if that's canonically true.
I think you're right. It really depends on what OpenGL defines it as, right? Because OpenGL in its graphics package is going to multiply one or the other, right? We have to basically decide what OpenGL is doing, right?
That's a great point.
OpenGL aspect ratio. And we'll find out when we actually render this which one we did,
Yep.
right?
It looks like it's width over height though.
Okay, so do we multiply it by width over height, or do we multiply it by things by height over width?
Oh shit. If we treat it as a square and we render it as a 16 by 9 rectangle, we want to multiply x by width over height. Because x...
Yes.
Wait. But that would actually stretch x.
Okay, so we want to do the reciprocal.
We want to do the inverse. Yeah, yeah.
So we want to multiply x by height over width. Is that right?
I think so, yeah.
We leave y alone. Yeah, okay. So x is this dot canvas dot height divided by this dot canvas dot width. 0, 0, 1, 0, 0. Right?
Yep.
All right. And then finally, our composed transform. And I believe we go latest to earliest from the left to right order. What do we do here? What do we do in the camera?
That's in order.
Transform is the first one. Oh wait, transform is the
camera world.
Yeah. So basically, earlier is more to the right, and then later is more to the left. That makes sense. Which actually accords to how I think of how matrix multiplies, how they work. Like one of the things that is always like tricky is like, do you want to scale before you rotate, or do you want to rotate before you scale? Or do you want to translate before you rotate, or do you want to rotate before you translate, right? If you rotate and then translate, you've sort of moved or rotated a version of yourself. But then if you translate and then rotate, you're actually like moving something around, like you're revolving something around a center.
Yep.
And so the earlier one is the one that's going to be closer to the matrix multiply. And basically what that means is, closer to the vector that you're multiplying by. So what the multiplication is actually going to look like is you're going to have your point here, and then you're going to have some matrix, some set of matrices in order.
I see. Yep.
And the earlier ones are going to be closer to the P, right?
Gotcha. Okay.
Right. So our transform is basically the world to view initially.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to multiply times the flip y, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of X form.
Yeah.
And then basically we're going to just start to compose these. Normalize it from the viewpoint. Nice, from the aspect ratio.
Nice.
Does that sort of make sense?
I think so.
Okay. Now we're basically ready to transform our stuff, right? Okay, so for a primitive rect, what we want a...
Do we want to set that as the uniform?
Yeah, we can set that as a uniform.
Yeah.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Because I think you're about to multiply it by the points, but we don't want to do that, right?
We can do it in the...
Yeah.
So we don't have a uniform under shader yet, right?
Mm-hmm. Uniform vec 2?
Mat
2, yeah.
2.
I mean, I guess it can be a mat 4 because OpenGL seems to be pretty chill about just filling in zeros.
It's a mat 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then our vertex position, basically what we're saying is the position is a
X.
vec4 of a x form times vec3 of a vertex position.
Whoa.
1. I don't know if you can do this, but we'll find out.
Sounds good.
But does this make sense? We're basically taking the vertex position, we're going to expand it into a vec3, and then we're going to multiply it by the x form.
It does. I actually thought that was going to happen outside of the vec4, but I'm curious to see what we get.
Yeah, we could do that too. Yeah, so we could do, vec3 pos, or p equals this.
Oh,
And then that's fine. Yeah.
I was thinking that I was wondering if the mat3 would automatically expand to a mat4, but maybe not. I don't think we need to.
Yeah, that's a little bit more complicated, but
Yeah.
we might be able to do that. Yeah.
No, that looks
Yeah,
great.
we don't want to do 2D math in a 4D world.
Yeah.
We're doing 2D math in a 3D world because we want to do some scaling and multiplication and then also translate it, which is why it's 3D. We actually need to figure out how Mat2D is a funny data structure because I think it's optimized to be this in memory, but we need it to be this when it goes to the shader.
I think it is that. I think it's always.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You're saying under the hood it is that.
Yeah.
It's only a 6-element array. There must be a transform into mat3, right? Is there mat3? Is there from mat2D? It is. Okay.
Nice.
Okay, so the uniform.
I guess we set it in render.
Yeah. So we just set it right here. We just do we'll say this dot ctx dot uniform matrix
3FV.
3 floating point values. Is that what it means? And the location we need to figure out, right? We haven't pulled out any of the locations of anything, did we?
No, we totally have.
It's just down here. It's down below, right?
Yeah, get Azure location. There you go.
Okay, let's just friggin' call this inline right now, and we can memoize it later, right?
Yeah, and I think the get location. Let's see.
Get uniform location.
Get uniform location. Yep.
X form. Everything has this A in front. It doesn't really matter.
I think that was for attribute.
Oh yeah. So should this be U X form? Do you think?
Could be.
It doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I mean it's our naming scheme.
They're just strings, yeah. And then we want to transpose it. Probably not. And then we do mat3 dot from mat2d of x form. Let's bring that in.
I think you need a mat3.create in there too.
Good call.
There's one thing I know, it's GL Matrix wants me to create things.
Source length.
Optional.
Optional.
Offset and length, optional, yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
So I think that's it, right? And then a mat3. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's just a 8 9 a 9 component value.
Yep.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay, so what we want is, oh, so this is pretty easy, right? Now we need to just like create our geometry, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to use the default vertex array object, right?
Yeah.
And
So this is all maybe okay for rendering squares.
yeah, I agree. Vertices and buffers.
Hmm. So oh, so that's interesting. So I was thinking that actually we would fill. No, what you're doing is good.
Oh, you're saying let's do everything above the switch?
I was thinking like
I think that's fine.
we're gonna fill something
I
with
agree.
points, and then the switch can actually like just iterate through and put them in points in as it needs to.
Yep, that makes sense. So basically all this stuff we can move above, right?
Yep. Yep. Except for that.
Except for the buffer data functions.
Well, and so even all this can be below too, because we're the
Oh, I
square.
see. We're just filling buffers here.
Yeah, the squares array that we start filling up top is like, yeah, 148 to 156 is like actually our data right now.
Okay.
Or sorry, yeah, the stuff below that too, probably.
And
where
then
we push
colors is basically coming from the renderable,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Okay. So basically we have some let verts positions, vert pos equal some this, right? And then what this is actually is vert pos equals, and this is world space that we want to do it in, right? So renderable dot pos x coordinate. Okay, so let's talk about geometry here. We want a total of 6 vertices.
because we're just gonna do straight points, no triangle strips, no.
Oh, are we doing lines? No. We need to do triangles, right?
Yeah,
Because...
no, but no, nothing fancy, just 6 points.
Oh, so yeah. We could do 6 points, or we could do a triangle strip. And in that case, we do 4 points. Right?
Is that gonna work the whole way down?
It's not going to work for other. It's not going to work for other primitives.
Okay,
If we want to just do straight triangles, we can do that too, and that'll be 6 points.
let's just do triangles.
Okay. So what we want is basically, where do we want the diagonal to go? Do you want the diagonal? Do you prefer diagonal to go like northwest to southeast, or northeast to southwest?
I'm gonna say northwest to southeast because 4 of those points are just our coordinates. Or sorry, 2 of those points are the pos, and 2 of them are the pos plus tile size.
Agreed. Okay, so we're gonna start with this top triangle.
It's really how do you like your sandwich cut in triangle?
Yeah, we're gonna do the top triangle right-hand rule winding. So it's basically counterclockwise winding. So we're gonna start with the northwest coordinate. And then we're going to go down to southeast.
That should be pos 1.
Good call. Yeah. What if we did this?
But
and these don't need to be vectors, right? This is r.pos 0 plus r dot dimensions 0, r dot pos 1. Does that make sense? Oh,
Yeah, it totally does.
and then the vertex positions are going to be northwest 0, northwest 1, southeast 0, southeast 1, northeast 0, northeast 1.
Wait, I thought.
And
Okay, yeah, totally. It works. I was gonna say southwest, but they work exactly the same.
we're doing northwest, the diagonal from the northwest to the southeast, right?
Yeah, and I was thinking southwest, but you just went the other direction.
Yeah, I started in the northwest because I'm trying to go counterclockwise.
Oh, counterclockwise. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh no, it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't
Like what you're saying is like which triangle did we start with?
Yeah, yeah, that's all.
So we can start with this one as well, right? Same difference. And this is now southwest 0, southwest 1, and this is southeast 0. Southeast 1.
Mhm.
And then let's actually do prettier ignore here because I like the way this is drawn. This doesn't like this. Oh, just because we're never reading from it, right?
Yeah.
Vert pause. Do we ever need the aspect ratio again?
I don't think so. No, I think we solved that.
Okay. And then this is the position, and this is just vert pause, right? Let's actually call that positions.
Yeah.
And this is a float, just number array.
Probably wants to be a float 32 array because I think some of the GL matrix stuff wants that.
No, but we kind of do a cast here. It's expensive, but like yeah.
Never mind. Yeah.
So this doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
And then the vertex colors. I guess we need to construct a colors array here, right?
Correct. Yeah, we need to push the colors onto this.
Right, let's just call this positions. What colors is also a number array, right?
Yes, because we're splatting in the 3 color values. Yeah.
Oh, I totally could have done splats here.
You could have. Is there a zip function in JavaScript arrays too? Could you have like unrolled the array one level? I forget if that even exists. It's a Ruby one for sure.
Let's be totally JavaScript.
Hell yeah.
Oh man, look at that. It's triple dots.
The triple dots, yeah.
I'm still stuck in Rust.
What does 2 dots in Rust do?
It's a range between 2 numbers. It's actually kind of clever. Like this is 0 to 9. This is 0 to 10.
Oh, that's weird. Okay.
That's
Clever, yes. Also,
yeah, it's weird. I'm not going to argue with you there. And then the colors we need to construct as well,
correct.
Right? Prettier ignore is what I was going for. And this is literally. Oh, wait, how do we get colors?
So the renderable should have one.
Yeah, but it's actually an index into the color array, right? This one here.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, const c equals colors of renderable dot. Oh shit.
Fill style? Fuck.
But fill style is just a color for now, right? I don't think we.
Yeah, but I think it's a CSS color.
No, I think it's strings, right?
We will find out.
Let's go to this, for example. A wall. Oh, you're right. Fuck.
I mean, let's change it, right? Oh wait, is this the wall? Why does it have a gun? What?
Uh, I item transforms. What the hell?
Well, we have the whole. It's for the turret and the thing moving separately, but that's weird because that's definitely not the.
Oh,
That's the turret model.
I'm very confused. Uh, so two renderables for a model. We take a model. And what are fill styles?
Just strings.
They're just strings. And so should this just be rather than RGBA? Should it just be
Like a color index.
a color index? Yeah.
Yeah.
Did we do Oh, you know why? Because the walls can get damaged, right? I don't care about
Yes.
walls. I just want terrain. What
Yeah.
is
The terrain renderable should be built in one of those. There you go. At the very bottom.
Yeah, but what are the colors?
Uh,
Colors are CSS colors here.
we could index off of that, or we could rename those.
Yeah. Uh, I say we rename them.
Okay, let's do it.
So grass is just green.
Mm-hmm.
The mountain is gray. Or what color are mountains?
I think they were brown.
River is blue.
Should be blue.
Unknown is that sure looks like magenta to me.
Magenta. Foof. Classic foof.
And do we have all those? We have brown. We don't have magenta, right?
Mm-hmm. And that blue is gonna not be the lovely river blue we picked before, but that's okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be a very bright blue. Okay, so how do I fight the TypeScript error that's gonna come my way? r.fillStyle type undefined cannot be used as an exclamation point.
I think you want do r.fillStyle or magenta.
This?
Damn.
Okay, yeah. And then .c, 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 right? Those are vertex colors for each one of those vertices.
Mm-hmm.
Still doesn't like this.
That's weird.
Element implicitly has an any type because in expression is not of type number. Oh, you know what it is? It's just because I renamed this. Let's go with the color table.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
I don't know if I can do this.
What is happening?
It doesn't like the fact that we're not statically choosing one of these. We can make this a map. Although,
Well, what about can we just define the index? Can we define the color index above that and then cast it there?
what do you mean by color index?
The r dot fill style.
Okay.
Where we call that, can we say const color name equals r dot fill style or magenta? Yeah.
So we want to know what type K should be, right?
Yeah. string. And then could you cast this as key of color table?
I mean, one thing we could do is just say the color table is
a string.
Is a record of key. How do you do this? Key?
Key colon, yeah, in the square brackets. Key colon string to a
three tuple.
A three tuple of numbers. Yep. Number.
Horrible.
TypeScript, why? Yeah.
The funny thing is, this is all unnecessary because eventually we'll just be passing the colors in as 4 colors, right? We're going to do the alphas as well, right?
True.
Why is it complaining about? Oh, because it was constant. Colors. Now this is not complaining.
Yep, I can just go back in there.
Yeah. This is never getting read, right?
Now, so why are we assigning the values instead of looping?
Come again?
Sorry, we do. This is all for a single renderable, correct?
Yes.
So we need to do this for 4,000 of them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or just however many are on the screen currently.
Ah, true.
Yeah.
Oh, right. We made that optimization. That's great.
Yep, we totally did. These are just triangles now. Positions dot length divided by 2. That's correct because these are still vec2s that are in here, right? Yes. Okay.
Yep.
So it compiles. There's still some TypeScript errors. This is saying complain that we don't have a set world pause, right? Set. There's going to be a lot of refactoring that's going to have to go on here.
Yeah. This is fine.
Unsported. Text align. Yep, we don't do text. Sorry, son. We don't do circles. Nope. And okay, well,
surely
like,
if there's no TypeScript problems, surely it works in OpenGL just fine.
Yeah. It's just gonna work straight up.
Yeah. I'm loving it.
Yeah. Cannot read property of enabled.
What?
Okay, this looks more like
does
it.
not work. Oh.
Are we setting transform?
Must
still?
be.
Really
good idea putting that error in
render
there.
function. Yeah, totally. Render.set transform. This is the problem. Set camera position.
That'll do it.
Get position. Cute. I like how we use magenta for everything. It's a very load-bearing color in this game.
It's gonna make it hard to see if we're missing colors in the other thing, but you know what? I don't care.
Yeah. Come on, Build. You got it. I need more. I need more cores.
You need all 8, yeah. Oh, so the rumor is that the MacBook Pros will actually get like 16 cores or something.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah, which sounds delightful.
Why is it still insisting that we're doing this? Did I not reload? Client.render. I'm looking at it, bro.
Is anything still calling set transform? Did we call it a second time for moving the text around?
We totally do.
Yeah.
For view space rendering. We're not going to do any of this.
None of that nonsense.
None of this. Here's what we're going to do.
Nobody needed view space rendering in the first
Nobody
place.
needed this. Yes. This is a very cruel way of approaching the problem, but it's effective.
Oh, come on. I want to see what happens. I was worried the magenta was indicative of nothing working, but it totally hasn't even rendered yet.
Warning, too many errors.
Render count or prim count is 0. That's not what I expected.
Yeah, I like how this this location is very very useful here.
Fuck. That's where OpenGL is stored.
Okay. Are we getting wrecked? Oh, you know what it is? Maybe we should return here, right? Because we don't want the rest of the pipeline, because we're drawing all kinds of other crap, right?
Mm-hmm.
Besides just the terrain.
That makes sense. So is this entire thing running once per renderable? Where's the renderable loop on here? Oh.
And
oh, yikes. Okay, great.
Yeah. You may come to the conclusion that is bad.
That seems terrible.
Yeah, it seems bad.
That's why I was like, where's the loop? And now I understand.
We're still drawing a green square. Oh no, wait. This is it. This is the level.
Oh,
this is the tiny level.
Switch us to big map.
Let's go to big map.
Aspect ratio doesn't look right.
It doesn't matter. We'll solve that. I don't want to talk about it.
I'm with you. Okay. Main TS? I think it's like main.
Game.ts.
Game TS, yeah.
Yes. Quad tree test. We want big map.
I'm so stoked. Because we can't tell if it's rendering like anything backwards here. Soon.
It's so funny that we got a green square again.
It's green squares all the way down.
Green squares on magenta is all that we kind of like deal in. Oh my god!
Holy shit!
That's the game.
That's really cool. It's upside down. Is it?
I don't think it is upside down.
It's not up. No, you're right. No, it's great. I just didn't recognize it with none of the shit there.
The aspect ratio is wrong.
Hmm.
But it's not horrible. And what if I drive around?
I was gonna say, what happens if you move the play?
Oh my god, it's so slow, but it works.
Oh, that's disgusting. Oh, gross.
And when I move down, it doesn't work. Are we upside down?
You've got some room between the top of the screen.
I am moving down.
Yeah, but at the speed it's going, I guess it might take you a second to get down happening.
Yeah, that's very slow.
This sucks. There you go.
There you go.
And you're probably gonna get shot by some turrets soon.
I am getting, yeah.
They're right there. We just don't. Okay.
But you know what?
This is fucking sick.
This is incredible.
Amazing work.
Yes. This is the GPU doing work.
Yeah. So this
yes.
This definitely begs the question to me. We should bake this into a texture. That's a lot.
Well,
that's a lot.
We might not do terrain as a texture.
Oh, that's true. If we wanted to have
like eventually, it's not going to be like this.
The mountain should have a rise to them. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm down with that. Yeah. I guess maybe the problem is the way that rendering happens is just nonsense.
Rendering is not very good right now. We're creating new vertex array objects, shipping off the GPU.
Setting the uniform once per rectangle.
Yeah, every single frame.
Yeah.
Really, we want this geometry like essentially preloaded all the time. Right?
Yep.
And then we just send indexes saying like, "Hey, I want these indices to draw."
Oh, I see what's about to
happen. And
then
the colors are going to be there as well. How are we doing on time? What have we got?
8:30.
And half an hour. Should we do this?
Let's do it. Let's. If this can actually be quick, or not quick. If this can be performant, that would be very neat.
Okay, so what's interesting is that we're going from abstract representations of our world, right? We're doing like one tile per everything, and it's like, well, we basically have data for everything.
But it's going from like a tile thing to a continuous representation of what the terrain is essentially.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
then we essentially need to have a giant terrain model that we load in and say, so the primitive really isn't just one thing anymore. The primitive is the whole thing, right? So when we load the map, we should probably create in OpenGL the primitives that we need at that time, right?
Now, does the renderer? Are we gonna? Do we have to write an interface in the renderer to like specify that like, hey, we're putting this terrain over here, or because we want to be able to access that array buffer?
Yeah. So the way that I think we're going to do it right now, I'm going to go ahead and close this tab, or else my computer's going to die. Um, I think what we should do is on the renderer, we should just have like a set terrain thing,
Nice.
and it can take all of these renderables, right? And then we can build something out of it. Or what does our terrain actually look like? Layer. It is just a shitload of renderables, right?
Yep.
That's all it really is. Oh, and it's fine. It's fine. Well, so I think what we'll end up doing is high level. When the game starts, and when we load the terrain, where does that happen? Start play. We do this.
Yep.
We're going to immediately make a call to the renderer saying, hey, here's the giant, here's all the renderables. You crunch that down into OpenGL primitives and like store it in a special thing called the terrain. And then the renderer is always going to, what we need to add to the renderer a render terrain call.
Yeah.
That we call right after the clear. Right after we set the camera roll position. And what we do, it's basically replacing this.
Yep.
We need to replace this with a call to say, here are the visible extents of the world. And then that will translate into indices of the...
Now, do we need to do that if that's all baked into the array, or does the OpenGL won't just deal with that for us?
OpenGL will clip it, but what it's going to do is like if we try to render every single triangle of the entire map, it might still be slow.
Right, because it clips it, but it won't do the dance of figuring out.
Yeah, so
the vertices are off screen, but they're not taking up like the fragment shader. But
I actually think it'll still be faster though. I actually think it'll get clipped in the vertex shader.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, so certain rate, the vertex shader will see this doesn't exist. It clips it out, but it still loops over every index. But
but honestly,
the GPU
it's not
doesn't.
that much, right? Yeah. Like if you think about it, what is it? 64 by 64? What is that?
So we have 4,096 tiles
times 8,000 triangles. Nothing, right? Like it's nothing for the GPU to process.
Great, throw them out the GPU. Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe we don't even need to do that, right? So the renderer is going to need a render terrain, right? Let's just like load terrain VAO, draw elements on it, right? And that needs to be in the render interface. And we also need to load the terrain, right?
Yep.
And this can be a shitload of renderables, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just put these together, shall we? And then I think this is going to look actually very similar to this stuff down here, right?
Like we just did most of it. Yeah.
We did a lot of it. It's true. Um,
So I guess we could sort of piece these out into the function it goes in. Like the transform goes into the uniform of the transform should go into the render terrain.
yeah, let me grab this.
And then all this goes into the load terrain. Yeah.
R.
So we
Oh, this is for each one of these, right?
yeah, we need to loop over R.
This is renderables. Of renderables.
Did it do that? That's so weird.
It was a little weird. I'm not gonna scrutinize it too much. This should instead be a throw new error. Terrain must be rect. Okay, so same deal here, right? It would be positions is just an array of numbers, right? And we have to call it that. Colors are as well. This is a push, right?
Yep.
Push, or is it a concat? Can we do an in-place concat? Is that possible? Oh, we can push multiple things at the same time, right?
Yeah.
That's what we want.
Yeah. Is it not happy about that?
I just misspelled it.
Ah, great. Sweet.
I'm sure it's not happy about my dot dot dots. That's a runtime hit, right?
We're only doing this once though. This is loading, so
Yeah,
whatever.
It's true. Okay, now that we've got those, we can create our vertex array object, right? Which is this one here. And actually, we need all this stuff. Right?
I was say we haven't actually created a vertex array object yet. Maybe
we haven't. We need to create one.
Yeah, we should create one in init. That's our private terrain vertex array object.
Yeah.
Oh man, I hate that this is starting to make sense.
You mean you love it?
I do.
What you're telling me?
Well, it feels like my brain is broken.
My brain is broken too.
When it works the OpenGL way, yeah.
Okay. Create terrain specific AO. MDM, MDB, MDM vertex array object. Okay, so it'd be this dot terrain val equals this dot ctx dot create vertex array, right? Straight up. Then we bind it. This dot ctx dot bind vertex array. This dot terrain VAO.
Nice, yeah.
And that's basically it, right?
Oh, you don't have your this, yeah.
Son of a B. Private terrain vow. It is a WebGL vertex array object. What is an array object OES? Is that like an OpenGL ES version of that?
Oh, WebGL 1.
Oh, WebGL 1. Okay. And then this is question mark?
I was gonna say you could.
Or should we just initialize it to nothing?
Let's. Well, we can create it in the constructor, and then we
yes.
bind it and put stuff in it later. It's just a pointer.
Brilliant.
I like that. It's just a pointer. That's really.
I like that too. Right here.
Boom.
And then this is complaining because we never read it. This .ctx does exist. Oh, I need an exclamation point. I insist that you exist.
So at the end of load terrain, we bind and fill values, right? Yeah.
We
Oh, that's
bind
right.
it,
Huh?
then we bind the buffer. Yeah, and then if we wanted to be super scrupulous about this, we could do this.ctx.bind buffer, this.ctx.array buffer, null, and then this.ctx.bind vertex array, null, right?
I like it. It
Yeah,
feels right.
it does. It says basically, I just mess with the context, but I want you to like forget all that stuff, right? Um,
Dude.
yeah, I'm not gonna worry about those. Okay, so render should do nothing, literally nothing right now, right?
Correct.
But I want to keep this one. Um, do nothing for now. And then load the VAO, and this is this.ctx.bind vertex array. This dot terrain VAO. And then we need to know how big it was, right? So we need another local variable or class member, right?
Man, you can't. It won't. You can't just ask the VAO how big it is, huh? That's weird. Oh, I guess it's already on the GPU. We can't. We can't go query for info from
Oh,
there.
why did I delete all that code? I still need the camera shit. Okay.
Oh, right. Our X form needs to live.
Yeah,
Yep.
this maybe should happen when we set the world position.
Let's do that. Let's make a single transform. Because yeah, we shouldn't do this every render.
No.
Once per input is great.
Yeah. This. That'll do it, right?
Oh, because it sets the uniform when the camera position changes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sick.
As long as we never change the shader program, we're good. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. We're taking a lot of liberties here.
Yeah.
Which is fun. And now this is going into our render terrain.
And the rest of that now, render can disappear. It looks like.
Yeah, this.ctx.bind vertex array of this.terrain VAO. It is coming together, isn't it? And then we just need to know how many this is. Right? It's basically 6 times the number of renderables, right?
Correct.
Private terrain
VAO.
numverts.
Yeah.
Equals positions dot length
Over 2.
divided by 2. Indeed. And then this dot
terrain number.
Yep. This becomes nothing.
Well, damn.
Or to do, right? Tood. And then client render becomes this dot render terrain. This dot render
terrain.
Render terrain. And then I feel like I'm missing something. Don't you feel like we're missing something? When do we actually load the terrain? We don't do it yet, right? Uh, this dot map, this dot terrain layer is here. This dot renderer dot load terrain of this dot terrain layer dot get renderables. And what does this need? Visible extents. It should be the whole map, right? I think, did your audio just go out?
It did. Am I back?
You're back.
Okay. I hit the mute button because I had to sneeze, but I guess
Oh.
it didn't turn back on when I hit it a second time. Yeah.
Do we just want to get rid of the visible extents nonsense, or is it useful for us to? It's actually no longer relevant to the terrain.
I know. We're keeping track of we're keeping compatibility with the old renderer, but like, ugh, I don't care.
You don't care. I don't care either.
Yeah, let's just kill it.
It's really just this dot renderables, right?
Oh wait, then do we even need this function? Or can we?
I think it's private. I think it might be private.
Ah, okay. Fair enough.
Is it private? It is private. Okay. Or we can make get all renderables.
Nah, whatever.
Yeah, who cares?
We'll unfactor that again later, probably. Oh, and that's just unused. Yep.
Our game is like never going to work again.
And yet it keeps working remarkably.
Yeah.
I just see errors in code we're not running. So
I see that as well.
let's see what happens.
Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy. Oh my god. Oh, it's nice and smooth.
That's great. Is it actually
Check
smooth?
that
It's like
out.
choppy over here, but
It's a little choppy.
is it actually though? I can't tell.
It's a little stuttery, but I can't
Okay.
tell if I'm running into things or what's going on. I think I might have died.
You might be dead. Yeah, there's a bunch of
I might.
bunch of turrets over
I
there.
think I might be dead. Should I maybe not have the turrets fire at me?
Sure. Yeah, turn the turrets off. This is very cool. So
Is it amazing that it works?
I'm impressed, frankly.
Yeah. We have such low expectations for ourselves. And the hot reload worked as well. We don't have squares, but otherwise this is like the right side up here. Everything's kind of like everything's
It
kind
is
of
it
working.
is right side up. Yeah, I was totally mistaken. Go down to the fun turrets on the bottom. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Damn.
All right. So it looks like our rectangle our squares are too long.
Can you make the window bigger and I guess
Reload.
yeah. Hit save and then drag the window or something. Holy shit. Wait, that's not right. I mean, it's cool.
It is cool. It'll hot reload. Just give me a second. The hot reload interval is quite big because of ngrok limitations.
Oh, I mean, it's still building too, right?
Yeah. I think once we move over to like a digital ocean droplet or something like that, where the server is, everything will be fine. And I won't need to buy my Apple Silicon MacBook. I'm not sure if I understand what's going on right now. No, I'm kind of...
Well, I mean, it's interesting.
Now the squares are too tall.
The squares are too tall, and if you move around, we're still moving within the viewport, right?
Yeah.
Wait, what? Can you move down? So, all right, I think that
You have a theory.
I have a theory. I think where we did the aspect ratio with width and height, I think it's backwards.
All right.
Because the last view was like closer to square, and I think we were just like, it was hard to see.
I think that's a totally reasonable guess here. So is it the reciprocal, or should we be multiplying the y by this? There's a wide variety of things that we could do here.
Right.
Let's start with reciprocal and see where it takes us.
Yeah. I think both of those are good guesses.
Or do we need to figure out which is the larger dimension, and then
I was wondering about that. Yeah.
yeah. All fun things to think about.
Boy, I miss debug draw and our frame rates. We're gonna have to get that back somehow.
Yeah. I think we do Canvas 2D.
Just on top of it, yeah.
Yeah. Uh,
I also don't look right.
that doesn't look right either, but at least it fills the space,
Yep.
which pleases me. I think maybe we have to figure out what the larger dimension is.
I
Scale it down,
mm-hmm.
right? Because we had the opposite problem when it was the reciprocal, right? When we had a window that was narrower than it was tall. This one is wider than it is tall.
That's right. Yeah.
I'm gonna call this a smashing success, though.
Oh my
Right.
god. Incredible success.
Yes, one of the greatest achievements in the history of gaming. Although, no, wait, we still have wide squares. That was the issue that we had before, right? Those wide squares.
We have white squares, and I bet if you make the window narrower than it is wide, it'll stop taking up the whole screen again. It'll be too narrow. I think what you're saying is correct. That we. Oh, I see. You were thinking that this would correct it.
No, it's not going to correct it. Like we
Yeah.
don't have anything that updates the viewport size.
Oh, I thought you have to reload it, but yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah, yeah. So if you want me to reload it now, is that?
Yeah, with the tall window. I wonder if we're in 16 by 9. It's 16 wide and 9 tall, and the aspect ratio is like in the area of like 1.88 something, and that should be 1.8 times as many x's as y's.
Hmm. The other thing is,
Huh.
did we are we double normalizing?
Oh, that's a good question.
I'm just curious.
Mhm. I mean, we have to have the aspect ratio in there, right?
It's kind of implied here, right?
Oh, because we're doing it by I see. Yeah, good point. That might be it.
We'll see. That looks pretty square to me. I don't know. Is that two squares right there?
I think that's 2 squares. Yeah, that. Cool. Okay. Yeah, because we have scaled stuff. Oh, that looks great. Yeah, it's been scaled to its
It looks
ratio
good.
against
The
width
colors
limit.
are atrocious. This is like
You gotta put the nicer colors in there.
this feels.
What can brown do for you?
This literally actually looks like one of the first computer programs I ever wrote in BASIC, which was literally a long series of coordinates that I used to draw pictures of dinosaurs and cars.
Oh my god, that's so cool.
Yeah, on an Apple II.
I love it.
So I've really come full circle in life, poignantly. But this looks very square, right? You
I
see
think
this
it's
little,
I think
like-
it's
yeah.
square. Yeah, it looks correct to me.
All right.
Damn.
Oh, I've disappeared.
You faded out of existence. Yeah, you can't
Yes.
lean back too far.
Cyberpunk 2077. This is where I am. I'm leaving. I'm not reading great things about that game, to be honest. It's not encouraging.
Man, there's no way it could have lived up to any of the hype though. So
It's true. The marketing campaign was terrible.
yeah, I'm disappointed.
It really screwed the pooch on the whole crunch thing. It would have been better if they were just mum on the subject.
Right, they should have said nothing and just been normal game developers.
Yeah.
I look forward to buying it at $30 or $20. The same way I played The Witcher 3, which was like 2 years later when they fixed all the bugs.
Yeah. I guess really though is the game any good? Like maybe that's the big question that everyone's curious about because I've heard the combat is kind of iffy.
I'm bummed it's a shooter.
Yeah.
I want it to be a hacker. More hacking.
That and the fact that your like character creation was such a big part of it. I know what they were going for, but such a big part of Witcher 3 was like how Geralt was such a fully realized like character.
Yeah, I mean, have they made something that's not The Witcher though? Like, they also had like
Yeah, I don't know.
20 books to pull from for that, right? Or however many
It is
novels that
true.
that dude
They
wrote.
had a
Yeah,
lot of, but I mean, Cyberpunk also had like they had to invent The Witcher. They didn't have the world build, but they didn't have the world build for Cyberpunk either because they borrowed it from the role playing game, right?
that's true. But there's no Geralt in the role playing game.
Did you ever play paper and pencil role playing games?
Only a very little bit. I've done some like classic D&D and some White Wolf.
Okay.
Really big fan of Vampire the Masquerade.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that shit was great. And that game was also great.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, the Vampire the Masquerade game was like a stellar little RPG.
What would you compare it to?
Mm, somewhere between like Deus Ex and Mass Effect.
Okay, so it's like first person.
First person, you're a vampire of one of those like whatever clans there are.
Yeah.
And it's like there's a couple of like hub city areas that you're like wandering through with like stories. It's always in a city. It's always the same sort of like locales that things are happening in.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Nice. I think I never played White Wolf, but I made a werewolf character in
Oh yeah,
Werewolf.
that counts.
What's the subtitle of Werewolf?
Oh man, I don't know. They're all so embarrassing.
Yeah, yeah.
Like with the Awakening. I'm gonna guess it's
Werewolf. I think you're right. I think you're right. I meant Werewolf: The Awakening. I think you might be right.
it's
The
hard.
Forsaken?
Forsaken. Sure.
Okay, I'll take it. Yeah, sure. Whatever.
If you find the list
Players
of like
portray the Forsaken werewolves, known as Uratha.
if you find the list of like White Wolf games, there's like 10 of them and they all have dumb fucking names.
White Wolf Games.
Mage the Awakening. Ah, it was close.
Yes, White Wolf Publishing. RPG Products.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There we
Werewolf
go.
the Apocalypse. That's what it was. Werewolf the Apocalypse.
That's right. So at some point they killed the old World of Darkness and made a new one with different subtitles.
Oh. The spin-offs are Werewolf the Wild West and Werewolf the Dark Ages / Dark Ages Collateral.
I'm sorry. Werewolf the Wild West. What the fuck kind of thing is that?
Oh my god. Mage the Ascension, Wraith the Oblivion, Changeling the Dreaming, Hunter the Reckoning.
Oh my gosh. And then just Orpheus, and NBD.
Yeah. Okay. See, this is your sort of like.
That's the redo.
This
Yeah.
is your sort of retcon / reboot.
Hmm.
Okay. Well, it's still Mage the
I've
Awakening.
never played
I
the
guess-
retcon. I only
oh.
played the old style.
Okay. Yeah.
They changed. It was like going from D&D 2 to D&D 3 or something. They changed how everything worked.
My impression, I only ever saw the main books for these games. My impression was that you started off very weak
Oh yeah,
in comparison to where your character could progress.
absolutely.
And I'm not sure if classic paper and pencil role-playing games ever quite reconciled the early game experience. Whereas video games have fully figured it out because they can't afford not to. Right?
Yep. I feel like it's really on the DM to like put together some sort of path or like to throw you a bone at some point.
Yeah.
Because
I mean,
otherwise you're just screwed.
in video games, what they can do is throw weaker enemies at you.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think in most role-playing games, the stock standard stormtrooper or whatever skeleton or whatever can be much weaker than like a level 1 player in a lot of these games.
Yeah,
and so you end up just like dying a lot,
And you can't like you can't really grind because every fight takes so long.
Yeah. Oh man, combat in paper and pencil role-playing games is actually terrible.
It really is.
The thing to enjoy is like the fantasizing about combat. It's like you make your character and you're like, oh, I could do all this crazy shit if only I was like level 6. And it turns out that getting to level 6 actually takes like 3 years of solid campaigning, right?
Oh my god, it's so true.
Yeah.
Oh, hilarious.
All right. Well, we have arrived at like 10-year-old Jeff's Apple IIe basic pixel plotting
Hell yeah! I mean,
world,
that's all I
and we
ever wanted.
only can go up from here. I'm impressed.
This is really cool. It's awesome
Do
that
you want
that
me to just like
is.
merge to master and just like go run with it?
Sure, why not? What do we got to lose?
Yeah,
It's
it's true.
3D now. Like we should just be 3D.
It's true. Yeah, we should just be 3D. Boldly
Boldly.
stride boldly into the 3D world. I am curious though.
How the hell do we debug and measure this thing?
Yeah.
Gosh. Oh, good. Exactly what I was thinking.
Um. Yeah, 3 seconds should be plenty. I'm curious to know what our draw is right now. It should be cheap, right? All we're doing per frame is binding a vertex array object and then rendering it. Um, and indeed, our render is very, very tiny,
That's like nothing.
and our paint is tiny. 69, nice.
Nice.
All right.
Well,
I,
wait.
I think that's a good point too.
Yeah.
we're-
I just want to point out, like, the slice of the pie that the game is using right now is much smaller than it was on Canvas 2D. And I know we're rendering less stuff, but also, like, this is dope.
Oh, is it less? I can't really tell.
There's 2.5 seconds of idle. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So there is. I mean, that includes our multiplayer improvements here. We also turned the turrets off. That was the thing.
Oh, fuck. That's helping.
That was by far the most expensive thing.
That's
right?
true. I was gonna say though, you might be fighting your graphics card for zoom contention right now too. Who knows?
Oh yeah. I just need to get that M1 Mac.
You're gonna. I mean, we'll see what it does on PC dev too. But this looks great.
Oh yes. Let me ask you this.
Yeah.
On an M1 Mac, does it do H.264 video encoding in hardware?
Yes.
So you can do OBS on your. You might want to try doing the whole stream setup on your Mac.
I would like to try that. I think OBS has marked itself not compatible. I haven't tried that yet.
Oh, of course. They need to actually cross. That's going to take 8 months, right? There's just.
We'll see. We'll see.
I don't think they've ever built an ARM build for that, right? OBS.
Yeah,
But it is just like open source. It's probably just like straight C. I bet people are racing towards
if
this.
it builds through Xcode, it probably builds for ARM.
Okay.
That's my guess. But yeah, OBS needs some work. I might try the Twitch streaming actually.
Oh yeah. I wonder though if OBS. I wonder if their H.264 hardware support requires like NVIDIA specific drivers, or if it's like.
I bet so. Yeah.
Yeah. See. Well, that could be your open source contribution, is to just like hack OBS and get it to work with. I don't even know what the common interface to something like a hardware video encoder is. It's probably super platform specific, right?
Yeah. I wonder. Oh, they have a blog post, or no? They just got people talking about it. But this is great.
Oh, okay.
OBS already runs on ARM hardware with Windows for ARM.
There you go. I thought nothing worked for Windows for ARM. That's why people don't use it.
Yeah. Right. Did you see the metric where? Or did I say? I might say this when the mic's muted. They put Windows on there and it was faster than Windows for ARM. Like the MacBook is better than a Surface.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. With whatever build that is, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe they'll compile something in the next 4 days and I can try it.
Awesome. All right.
All right.
We'll leave it with that. 69 milliseconds painting.
Nice.
Doesn't need to improve from there.
All right. See you, Twitch.
Later, Twitch.